And all right.
Mhm.
So I am here with Marie Drennan, a longtime ExCo supporter and faculty advisory board member. And I'm so grateful for you to take the time out of your busy schedule to chat with us. Thank you,
Thank you,
Marie.
Dan. This was fun. Thanks. Yeah.
So how long have you been teaching at SF State, and what department do you teach in, and what classes do you primarily teach?
I teach in the BECA department, which stands for Broadcast and Electronic Communication Arts, which really basically means mass media, media arts, radio, television, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in the department for over 20 years now because I was actually a grad student back, I started in '99, and then I started teaching the intro writing class while I was a grad student. And then I taught it as a lecturer. And I taught as a lecturer while I was doing my MA and MFA in creative writing at State. And then I went tenure track. So I've actually, I'm not a full professor yet, but I've taught at I've been student, GTA, lecturer, and tenure track. So I kind of feel like, it almost feels like I was born in the BECA department and grew up there. And it's kind of like the only world I've ever known, sort of thing, which is a good world, actually. I've been really lucky. It's really a fantastic department, actually.
Yeah, that's amazing. How long have you been involved with the experimental college?
How long has it been now? Just like maybe, oh gosh, it's this time passing thing, right? That we're all having. I have no idea. Has it been 2 years? No, I think like maybe 2 years. I met Kathy Emery super randomly. She rides a motorcycle and I ride a scooter, and we just ended up having a conversation there in the motorcycle parking area. And I'm so glad that I did, because I did get involved with ExCo, and through that met you and found out about contract rating and the whole philosophy of ExCo, and you know, having students really determine for themselves what's meaningful for them, what do they want in their courses, what is their education for, what should it consist of, and so being in those conversations with Kathy and you and the whole ExCo crowd and the contract rating TLC that we did and stuff have been so inspiring and amazing. And also, I'm so grateful that I had them before we had to pivot online last March. I mean, it really, if that had never happened, I'd still feel like it completely like transformed my teaching and my whole kind of way of thinking about it. But it has also genuinely, I feel like just saved me in being able to keep classes going in a way that I hope are being useful and good.
Yeah, that's amazing. Can you expand a little bit more on that and maybe talk about some successes or breakthroughs you've had in remote learning as well?
Yeah. So I in the BECA department, I teach primarily script writing and different kinds of media writing. So it's kind of in the creative side of things. And then I also teach theory classes, and my focus is a cultural studies approach, which basically analyzes all media texts in terms of how ideologies of race, class, and gender are used to keep the capitalist economy in place. And I try to, it kind of seems like those are like two really different things to teach, and in a way they are, except that in script writing classes and media writing classes, of course, we're creating content. So it's an opportunity to really look at, from the theoretical point of view, how is media perpetuating these ideologies, and in a creative sense, put the question to the students: how are you going to make better media? You know, what's missing that should be there? What's flawed that needs to be fixed? Get out there and do it better. Yeah. And that really, that's kind of always what I've done. But what I think the ExCo, learning about the philosophies behind ExCo and in the contract rating have really helped me TV script writing is very formulaic, and media writing has a lot of rules around it. And we're a pre-professional program. So I've always really felt like I have to get my students ready to do these jobs. And that is true, that like that won't change. But on the other hand, one of the great things that I learned from Kathy and you and the whole crowd there is really that we have more choice and more control than we think we do. And a lot of this internalized, I have to do this, I have to do it this way, comes from an institution that was not built for the purposes that I actually want to be serving. And so I feel like this has really opened up a lot of ways for to look at, I guess, I still have the same goals. I still want my students out there succeeding in having successful careers as media creators, but I feel much more able now to let them know that it doesn't need to be them at the mercy of doing it right so they get hired. It should be do it better than the people who are doing it, and get out there and get your audience and take charge of it. Like, you decide what it is that should be out there. Don't ask permission, do it. Find your audience. And it's really been I feel like it's a lot like being a student again, in a sense that I mean, literally being a college student and discovering politics and getting kind of ruckusy and learning how to protest and all that stuff, because it feels good to be challenging the media industry and challenging the university, because I think in a lot of ways we're finding out, especially right now with COVID and online learning, but even beyond that, we have not really been serving. I think that what the true point of education is about, and this has helped me by letting go of some of the stuff I thought I had to do in certain ways, and also letting the student and encouraging the students to do the same. We kind of give each other courage. So just lots of really great things have come from that, and I can also genuinely say, after 20 years of teaching, I wasn't burned out, and I wasn't aware of having lost any joy in teaching, but I certainly discovered a whole new level of it. So yeah, grateful for that too.
Wow, what an amazing response. Thank you. In what other ways are your courses or your teaching kind of meeting the very specific current moment? And you can talk a little bit about how you couldn't come to the faculty advisory board meeting last time because you had to put together a town hall, which I was just so impressed by. So,
well, yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, meeting the moment. I think, like probably all professors right now, even figuring out what it means to meet the moment is hard. I mean, the kind of top level thing is just facing the reality that a lot of our students are so overwhelmed and stressed out by all of this, and they have no control over their work schedules, and they're terrified, and who knows what their living situation is, and do they even have access to internet or computers? So there's just like that level of things, trying to meet that, which just means structuring a class that has lots of flexibility. I'm pretty lucky in that this semester, it just happens that all 3 of my classes are script writing classes. And so, you know, for some kinds of classes, there's not a lot of wiggle room to scale back or you know, kind of change the curriculum too much, because maybe that's a skills-based class and you have to cover the material, or terrible things happen in the next class. My classes aren't really like that. So I decided to do a slow start. So for the first 3 weeks of the semester, we didn't do any coursework at all. We talked about time management and self-care, and I asked the students to, I wanted them to experience what this semester was going to be like for real, to live it for a few weeks and see what was going to happen with get their schedules sorted out, their jobs, into whatever's going on, housemates, all that. Everything is, as we know, really in flux those first few weeks of school, because the type of work that we're doing in my classes, it's different from academic work. I mean, I think what I hear from a lot of students is like they can, when they really need to, they can caffeinate enough or whatever it is to power through writing that 5-page research paper or taking this test, because that's what they've been doing in college over and over and over. But in my script writing classes, for a lot of them, it's their first time trying to, to write something, to write a script. And it can be really intimidating. I think a lot of students come in with a lot of fear. I won't be good enough. My writing is going to be terrible. They're shy about it. There are, lots of things, and everything about the current situation and how stressful it is, and the amount of taxing mental work that they're doing trying to keep up with these academic classes. This does not lend itself to creativity. There's no room left to let your imagination just relax enough to let your imagination do what it needs to do.
Yeah.
So I felt like spending a few weeks learning how to carve out space for that was a good investment to make. And I'm fine. So now we're a few weeks past that, and the script writing has begun. And I'm glad. My concern was, well, this is going to mean we're going to do less writing. It's going to mean I did literally shrink my curriculum or my syllabus. We're doing less this semester for sure.
Yeah.
And so the way I built it was basically I made a very, very, very pared down version of each class and told all the students, like, this is the minimum that's required to pass the class. And then for students who have more capacity, or, the writing class was like really the thing they wanted to do, if they want more than that, I just every week try to find lots and lots of optional things that are low stakes, that are that have a lot of variety to them. I try to, like, anything I can find that has to do with writing and media and bringing real world issues into creative work, things like that. Set those up so, like, you can go do that event and then write a reflection about it, or come back and do a presentation to the class, or lots of just a lot of ways ways for them to engage that are things they get to choose, and that when I put up the list of options for the week, that they really can just click on the one that looks cool to them. Just let them follow their bliss a little bit. They're being told so much right now about what they can and can't do and have to do. So that's kind of another thing that I was worried it would descend into chaos. But what I'm finding is actually, who'd have thunk it? Intrinsic motivation is the best kind. And when they come back from these things, they're bringing back all this amazing information to share with all the other writers in the room. So it's
asynchronous. It gives them agency to choose. Yeah, that just sounds so amazing.
Yeah, and if they're going to something because they're already expecting to find meaning there, they're going there for that, they will find it. And so it's, I remember very early on in learning about ExCo and in kind of my first conversations with Kathy, and a lot of what she was espousing, it made me nervous. It kind of made me feel like, well, oh no, if you give the students that much choice, the stuff they choose to do, it won't get the job done that I need to have them done. And again, it kind of came back to, well, why do I need them to do this? Let me rethink this for a second. And it really is true. Like, the students know. They don't know that they know necessarily, but if you give room, then they will make the most meaningful version of the class for themselves. Then the challenge for teachers, of course, is to keep it from just becoming overwhelming and chaotic, because my fear was, if I let everyone do what they want, I'm not teaching one class, I'm teaching 25 independent studies.
Right.
And I'm only one person, I can't do that. But, you know, you find your way. It didn't get that chaotic. And you know, when I need to rein things in a little bit for my own sanity, I let myself do that.
Yeah. One of my mentors, Jennifer Trainer, and the director of the writing program, says, "Bounded but open." That's her mantra.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds
yeah.
like the transformations you've gone through, Marie, are the exact transformations we want eventually our ExCo teachers to go through. And so I'm so glad that you are here working with us so closely. And I really appreciate your time and everything you've put into ExCo.
You too, Dan. I mean, this is just, it's really been fantastic. And just to make a little plug for anybody who might be watching this, if you're a student and considering teaching a class in ExCo, it's amazing. So please consider it. And when I look at the ExCo catalog and the courses that are being offered and the ideas that people have, I just think what a world it could be if it were, you know, what if the whole university was like this, or, you know, if it, and that's of course what we're looking forward to, right? Growing this and someday maybe having this not be a little thing, but be, you know, most of it even maybe. That would be pretty awesome.
100 classes, hundreds of classes. Yeah.
Hundreds of classes.
Lots of students. All right. Thank you so much, Marie. I will see you at the next FAB Faculty Advisory Board meeting.
Yes.
Cheers.
See you later. Bye.